Are you really quarter scale? Hey guys, welcome back to the sanctuary. I have a lot to say about this piece, so get yourself a beverage and a comfy chair. If you haven't already heard about this, as you know, this piece was released in 1/5 scale a year ago, maybe a little more. And it's a great piece. I own the 1/5 scale. On Halloween Day, Sideshow sent out an email to family, friends, and Sideshow VIPs, inviting them to purchase a quarter scale version of this statue with an edition size of only 20 for $1,100. And that caused a bit of an uproar in the community. People were asking, what is a Sideshow VIP? How do I become one of those? How do I get this statue? Lots of emails to Sideshow went back and forth, people asking questions. And then a second wave of emails went out, and one of those went to me. And I immediately purchased it. I'd won it from the start. I had actually posted in my group, my Facebook group, several times, Sideshow, when are you going to make a quarter scale Frankenstein's monster? And here it is. The history of how this happened is a little bit weird, but this is what I got from Anthony Mestis, who appeared on Constructive Outrage, another really good YouTube channel, about a week ago. He said that when they first went to the factory with this piece, they were thinking quarter scale. They printed up 20, sent them to Sideshow, I guess, for approval. And Sideshow went, holy crap, this thing is absolutely enormous. The price is going to be too high for our customers. The shipping cost is going to be nuts. Let's bring it down to 1/5. And that's what they did. So, with all that in mind, let's take a look at this piece. All right, so he's just under 27 inches tall, more like 26.75 inches to the top of that higher electrode on his back. Boy, I'm looking at this, and this trio is pretty awesome with Hulk and Frankenstein's monster and Swamp Thing. They look really, really good together. Anyway, he's 38.4 pounds, whereas the 1/5 scale was just over 15 pounds. So he's a big, heavy boy, no doubt about it. He presents as like a 1/3 scale. I know Frankenstein's supposed to be 8 feet tall, but he looks like a 1/3 scale. One thing I like about this larger scale is that kind of the wounds, the places where pieces were stapled together, they're just more pronounced. It has a cooler effect to me than on the 1/5 scale. It's painted really nicely. If you just look at the different colors just in that arm and shoulder, there's a lot of layers going on there. I know I'm probably not alone, but I think most people prefer a classic Universal monster or the Universal Frankenstein. I prefer this one, not just because it's more grisly, but I feel like if a semi-crazed Dr. Frankenstein were going to be putting together his monster through various parts from different bodies, that it might look this grisly. It might look like this. It just looks, I don't want to say more real, but it's a cooler look for me. The base is significantly larger. I don't think it's as deep as the dimensions on the Sideshow site. I measured it at around 14 inches. I think they had it at 18 or 19. The width is about 17 inches. It was interesting how it arrived. They did not do an art box. So I opened up the brown shipper and styrofoam was the first thing I saw. The styrofoam was both taped and had black straps, which is different. But everything about this piece, from the headstone there for Elizabeth, to the base, to the monster himself, are all significantly larger than the 1/5 scale, and I will give you a comparison shot in this video. I'll give you a rear view of this guy. I think I'm going to end up putting him on my garage shelves. I'd like to put him behind me over by Vampire's Lust, but I think he's going to be too deep for these shelves. So he might go on that top shelf. I'm not sure what I would do with one of those pieces if I put him up there, but he'll just barely fit. I think I've got 27 inches of room there, and he's about a 1/4 inch shorter. I'm not sure I ever noticed the vines on the back of the gravestone. That's pretty cool. Good magnets on everything. $1,100 was steep. That's a lot of money for a 1/4 scale, but again, this does present much larger than 1/4 scale, and there's only 20 of them. So that's kind of cool. It did come with a certificate of authenticity, which is not something you normally get from Sideshow. Signed by the Vice President and CCO. I'll let you freeze frame and read that if you like, but I got number 6 out of 20. The box was absolutely huge. I live on a 3rd floor, and I had to help the FedEx driver get it up the stairs. Nice guy, by the way. Give you a profile. I think the Kucherek brothers really knocked it out of the park with this sculpt. He truly is monstrous. Lots of influences. I can see a Bernie Wrightson nose there on Frankenstein's monster. I love that steel plate connecting the top of his head to the rest of his head. It's really awesome. And here it is with that flickering lantern on. I do wish Sideshow had provided a longer cord. It's a 3-foot cord for this piece. I wish it was more like 6 feet. And they have done longer cords for some of their recent pieces, but this one only 3 feet. But it does add some atmosphere and some storytelling to have that flickering lantern there. It's a good addition. All right, so here's a size comparison of the new 1/4 scale with the 1/5 scale that's been out for a while. I have kind of a harsh light on them. I wanted you guys to be able to see all the details. I also have a soda can on the far right to give you one more size comparison to either piece. And I do think that the 1/4 scale is a bit oversized. If a 1/5 scale is 19 inches, if you do the math, a 1/4 scale should be about 23.75 inches. This one is 3 inches taller than that. It doesn't put it into 1/3 category, but it's certainly larger than 1/4 scale. And I do wonder if they had produced this at 23.75 inches, if that would have been a size that would have allowed for a cheaper cost and a much more manageable shipping cost for customers. And maybe they could have put out 100 of them or 200 to make more customers happy. I'm not sure why they went all the way up to 27 inches tall. I mean, if Frankenstein is 8 feet tall, that's 96 inches. So in 1/4 scale, he would be 24 inches. This piece he's 25 inches and he's really hunched over. So standing straight up, he'd be significantly taller than that. So I think they could have gone quite a bit smaller and still called it a 1/4 scale and made it available for more folks. But man, if you want a Frankenstein that's large and imposing and maybe even a centerpiece of a horror collection, this is a great candidate for that. There's really no negatives to it. If you liked the 1/5, I suspect you're going to love the 1/4. it's a monstrous piece. Sorry for the pun. So I think I will be selling my 1/5 and keeping the 1/4. Here he is paired with Vampire's Lust, another popular horror piece from Sideshow. They're very close in height. I think they do look good together. He is definitely larger, as he should be. But if you're thinking about pairing these two together, I think it does work. I'd like to do it myself, but again, my Billy bookcases over here just don't have the depth, I don't think, for this piece. But they look good together. And finally, here he is with Frankie Reborn. This might not work quite as well. He just looks so much larger than her. That might not quite work as well. This actually, Frankie Reborn, pairs pretty well with the 1/5 scale. I do wonder how he will pair with the Universal Monsters Bride of Frankenstein, because she's standing straight up. So I'm very happy with my purchase. I do wish that it was available to more people. With an edition size of 20, it's going to be tough to get. It is waitlisted. It doesn't even appear on Sideshow's site unless you have a link sent to you by Sideshow in that email they send to select Sideshow customers. I'm sure some people will throw it up on eBay for some ungodly amount. It'd be fun to see someone put it up on eBay starting at $1 and see how high it goes, just out of curiosity. But if you're a Frankenstein collector, if you're not if you're a Universal Monsters collector, because it's not a Universal Monsters piece, but if you're a big Frankenstein collector, this is a piece that you might want to seek out for your collection. So much presence. It's really, really cool. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you on Facebook. I'll see you on Statue Forum and at a convention near you. Take care.